He sets the cocktail down on the porch railing before lowering himself into the chair. The glass touches wood with a quiet, practiced sound. Soft. Certain. His fingers stay curved around it for a moment, as if confirming its weight. The chill presses into his skin. Then he releases it carefully, leaving it exactly 2 inches from the edge, the way he always does. The porch is open to the air. Light stretches across the floorboards in thin, pale lines. Nothing moves quickly out there. Nothing asks anything of him. He bends his knees slowly and eases himself down. The chair receives him with a faint creak. He exhales once, long and even, as though finishing a small task. The cocktail waits where he placed it. Condensation begins to form along the side of the glass. Beads gather. One slips downward, leaving a narrow trail before disappearing into the wood grain. He watches the moisture without leaning forward. His hands rest on his thighs. His shoulders settle back. Breathing comes steady, measured, almost timed to the distant sound of wind brushing past the porch steps. After a while, he reaches for the glass again. Not to drink. He slides it half an inch to the left, then nudges it back to its original spot. A small correction, almost invisible. His thumb traces the rim lightly, circling once, then stopping. He does not lift it. The air shifts gently. It moves across his face, across the surface of the drink. The liquid inside remains still. He leans back further, letting his spine sink into the chair. The cocktail stands untouched on the railing. He studies the faint shimmer of light inside the amber surface. It trembles for a second, then steadies. His hand hovers near the glass, close enough to feel its cold without holding it. The distance between his fingers and the drink is small. He leaves it there anyway. He reaches for the cocktail at the same point in the morning each day. Not by looking at a clock, by feeling the hours settle into his bones. His fingers wrap around the glass. He lifts it slowly. Not high, just enough to bring it level with his chest. He watches the liquid tilt, then steady. A small sip. Measured. Never hurried. The glass returns to the railing in nearly the exact place it left. He does this again later. Lift. Pause. Sip. Set down. Between each movement, there is space. Not empty. Just stretched. The porch holds the rhythm with him. The boards warm under the sun. The light shifts along the railing. The cocktail gathers and releases thin trails of moisture that darken the wood before fading. He wipes the bottom of the glass once with his thumb before setting it down again. a quiet habit. No reason beyond repetition. Sometimes he leans forward before lifting it. Sometimes he stays back and reaches farther than is comfortable. The motion remains the same. Lift. Tilt. Sip. Return. The drink lowers slightly each time, though not by much. He never finishes it quickly. He never leaves it untouched for too long. His breathing fits inside the pauses. Inhale while holding the glass. Exhale as it meets the railing. There are days when his hand trembles just enough to make the surface inside the glass ripple. He waits for it to still before taking a sip. No spill. No rush. The pattern continues. He slides the glass a fraction closer as the light grows brighter. Later, he moves it back into shadow. Not because the taste changes, because the position feels right that way. The porch becomes a place measured in small movements. The cocktail rises and falls in his hand, always returning to the same narrow strip of wood. Nothing interrupts the rhythm. Nothing needs to. By the time the sun has shifted a full arm's length across the floor, he has lifted the glass several times. Each motion identical. Each pause slightly longer than the last. The glass sits longer between sips now. He lifts it at the usual hour, but the motion slows halfway up. His elbow hesitates before finding its place. The liquid tilts toward the rim. He waits, then lowers it again without drinking. A thin ring of moisture forms beneath the base. It spreads slowly across the wood, darker than the rest of the railing. He watches it widen before it begins to fade. When he finally takes a sip, the taste has changed slightly. Less sharp, less alive. He does not react to it. The cocktail returns to the railing. Time moves across the porch in long, quiet strokes. Light shifts away from the glass. Shadow takes its place. He does not move it back this time. Another lift. His hand trembles more noticeably now. The surface inside the glass quivers in small, uneven circles. He waits for it to steady, but it does not fully settle. He drinks anyway. The coolness is weaker. The condensation has slowed. A faint line marks where the liquid used to reach. It sits lower than usual for this point in the morning. He studies that line. His breathing grows heavier for a moment, then evens out again. The chair creaks as he shifts his weight, but he does not stand. The cocktail remains in his hand longer than before. He looks at it, not as if judging it, but as if trying to remember something about it. Then he sets it down. The glass touches wood with less certainty than earlier. Minutes pass. He does not reach for it again right away. When he finally does, The drink is no longer cold. He lifts it and pauses near his lips. The air brushes against his face. The porch remains unchanged. He lowers the glass without taking a sip. A small amount of liquid rests at the bottom, untouched. It has been sitting there longer than it should. The cocktail stays in his hand this time. He lifts it from the railing and does not set it back down right away. The glass feels lighter now. Only a small layer of liquid rests at the bottom. It barely moves when he tilts it. He holds it near his chest, fingers wrapped fully around the curve. The cold has faded. The condensation is gone. The surface is dry against his palm. He does not bring it to his lips. The porch is quieter than before. Even the air seems thinner, moving past without weight. He leans back into the chair, still holding the glass. His breathing grows slower, not strained, just longer between each inhale and exhale. Light shifts across the railing, climbing higher, then softening again. He watches the empty space in front of him. The cocktail remains suspended in his hand. Minutes pass without movement. His thumb traces the side of the glass once. Slowly, as if feeling for the coolness that used to be there. There is none. The small amount of liquid at the bottom reflects a dull, steady glow. He lifts the glass slightly, just enough to suggest a sip. It pauses there. His wrist lowers again. The glass never reaches his mouth. He studies the thin line inside where the drink once stood higher. It is faint now. His arm relaxes gradually. Not dropping. Not releasing. Just settling. The glass drifts down until it rests lightly against his leg, still in his hand. He does not place it back on the railing. The porch holds him in its quiet. The chair creaks once as his weight shifts deeper into it. The cocktail remains where it is, unmoving. His fingers stay wrapped around it, but they do not tighten. The last of the liquid sits untouched at the bottom. He continues to hold it, as if finishing something that no longer needs to be finished. Not every memory is clear, but some never leave. They remain quietly, waiting for an ordinary moment to return. If this story brought something back, it has done enough.